Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We have our favorite doctor here with us today, Dr. Stephanie Hansen from Sanford Health, going over something that parents might have been hearing about and might be concerned about, and that's RSV. I know we've talked about it on the news a few times, and so for folks who don't know, what is RSV?
Yeah, RSV is a respiratory infection that comes around every year. We see it every year. Causes quite a variety of symptoms. Can cause fever, pretty bad cough, nasal congestion, and sometimes some difficulty breathing.
And so, listing off those symptoms, how would a parent know if it's my child has a cold, they have a sinus infection, they have COVID maybe, or they have RSV? You know, how do you go about telling which one is which?
No, you're not going to know. They're very similar. They all have some of the same features, and you know, we make those guesses, our best guesses, based by what's going around in the community. We do a bit of testing, so that can help us kind of sort it out. But for the most part, it is really tough to tell.
And is there a test for RSV, or is it you just have to list the symptoms and then you're using your medical judgment?
There is a test, although we don't often actually employ it because typically it doesn't really change the management of the illness.
Okay, and so what would the management of that be if someone has it?
It really is about trying to keep your child comfortable, trying to keep them well hydrated, so encouraging them to drink fluids, and keeping an eye on their breathing, you know, seeing if they're having any trouble breathing. And
then with that, you said it's a respiratory illness that people have. What is the risk of, I don't know the right word for it, but like contagion, spread, I suppose?
Well, just like any, you know, cold or COVID or flu, it is contagious. You know, most commonly spread in childcare settings or within a household. Adults can get it, older kids can get it. You can get it again if you've had it before. So it's one of those viruses that circulates every year.
And when would you say that a parent's asking questions of, you know, when is it okay to send them back to school or back to daycare? You know, at what point is that now safe to reintroduce them?
We usually say once you are fever-free for 24 hours without the use of medications and your cough is under control. So you don't have to be 100% to go back to daycare, but you really should be over the worst of it and feeling better.
Okay, and by medications, does that include like ibuprofen or
yes,
things like that?
Ibuprofen, acetaminophen, those over-the-counter fever reducers.
Okay, so off of that for 24 hours and then it should be good. Okay, and so when it talks about the troubled breathing, is that something that can be very serious? Is it just kind of a light wheezing? You know, how do you diagnose that?
It can run the gamut, but things for you to watch for as a parent is, you know, just really look at your child and their breathing. Do they seem comfortable? Are they resting? Or do they seem agitated and worried about, you know, being able to get enough air? Look at their chest and their belly. Are they really using those muscles to get air in and out? Or do you hear a wheezing sound when they breathe? Those would all be reasons to come in and get checked out.
And I think that's a great point. A lot of parents ask the question, when should I take my child in? Because some parents might feel, and it's not right, but maybe just a little silly if they bring it in and the doctor goes, it's a cold, they'll be fine, you know?
Certainly, I just want to stress, if you're worried about your child and their health, we're happy to see you anytime. If you're not sure, then I think pay attention to some of those things I mentioned. Take a look at how well they're eating and drinking. You know, does that seem off? Have they had a fever that's lasted more than several days? Are they lethargic? Or are they having trouble with breathing? If you see any of those things, you know, come on into your child's pediatrician or to the pediatric urgent care.
I was just going to say, is that something in a walk-in could also quickly tell you which one it is?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, because sometimes getting those appointments day of can be a little difficult with your pediatrician that you specifically have. Okay, and so what other advice do you have for parents as we're kind of just on the cusp, I feel now, of flu, cold, whatever season it is. What advice do you have to hopefully kind of ward off some of that stuff?
Yeah, you know, just some of those basic health things that we hammer on all the time. Making sure your child is getting enough sleep, making sure their nutrition is as well-rounded as it can be, make sure that they're getting some physical activity every day. Those are things that can help keep them healthy and help prevent illness. And then good old hand washing, that'll always do it for you.
Hand hygiene, so incredibly important. Another thing at this, today very warm, but we know we're heading into it. A lot of people always say cold from the cold. Does it?
Not true. You know, those viruses just tend to circulate more in the winter when it is cold out. We're spending more time indoors, which increases the spread too. But being cold doesn't cause colds.
So if you're bundled up appropriately and it's a little chilly outside, the kids can still go out and play.
Absolutely.
And they should. Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Hansen, thank you very much this morning.
Thank you.
Coming up here on today's show, we're talking with Bergstrom Aesthetics. That's right after the break.